Hey everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and guys, Happy New Year. I know it's been a while since I posted a little video, but between Christmas, the New Year, and my birthday, which was on the 8th, it's been kind of a crazy thing. Plus, this year I've been just trying to get rid of a lot of crap in my life, whether you're talking about physical stuff or a lot of collectibles that I've just kind of grown out of love with. So all in all, I've been kind of busy. Plus, between that and my job and just, doing my thing over there, it has been a little tough to get videos, but I assure you I am still alive. And in today's video, I am so happy because other people have recently posted their best ofs after the fact, so now I don't feel so bad about doing it. But guys, today I'm going to give you my best 10 movies of 2017. And mind you, this list is all about the things that I have seen. Granted, I missed a lot of movies. And, this list is to the movies that really impressed me. And what I was looking for out of these were kind of like the top 10 movies that, I liked, that I felt delivered, that I feel did give kind of an original sense when they were presented, or kind of reinvigorate a certain series or anything like that, as you'll see with some of these, or that the concept was really interesting and that it really did a great job, or some of them even are films that I didn't expect that I would like, or ones that I did and actually did deliver. So anyway, guys, there are a few films that I could mention as honorable mentions, but I will just keep it to my top 10 favorite films of 2017. So here, without further ado, let's jump in. At number 10, we have Kong Skull Island. Yes, guys, Kong Skull Island, which is set in the Godzilla universe that was done with the Godzilla reboot. I was very excited to see this, and actually, after the previews and the trailers, I did not get disappointed one bit. We had Samuel L. Jackson, Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, John Goodman, a bunch of great actors in there from different genres and different films. And I really enjoyed this because where the Godzilla film was enjoyable in its own way, they didn't really go for the gusto with the action and everything. This one went for it, and that paid off in spades. Going into the film, I really didn't even know that it was going to be a period piece. So going in and finding out that this Kong story actually takes place in the Vietnam era and actually a little bit before that was really interesting, and I thought that heightened the story a great deal. And the fact that we got like great monster battles, like I said, and it was very interesting how they set up the characters and this island essentially. John C. Reilly's character, being stranded on there for so many years, kind of knowing from the people there and kind of getting to know how Kong is the king. And the fun fact of him still growing, essentially, he's kind of a kid, gave a nice little backstory to Kong's species, which I really enjoyed. And of course, they're peppering in little things here and there for the whole bigger monster universe. They had the cave drawings and the little post-credit scene with Ghidorah and Mothra and all that other stuff. So they're really going to tease that big battle between King Kong and Godzilla at some point. And all in all, guys, I feel like this film was really good. And of course, it just made it into my top 10. At number 9, there was actually a film that I was waiting for before the year got done. The movie Bright with Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, directed by David Ayer, who famously came off of films like Fury and Suicide Squad. And I gotta say, guys, for a straight-to-Netflix film and a Will Smith film and a David Ayer film, I really enjoyed it. And I thought that it was an interesting subject matter, the fact of magic and mysticism, kind of like merging that into what is essentially South Central and kind of that gangland mentality and everything. I mean, how would that be applied to kind of LA, California gangs and stuff like that? And I think they did a pretty good job, but I did enjoy the message of the film and everything. I thought Joel Edgerton was awesome. I thought Will Smith was actually pretty good. He's still Will Smith, but I think in this one he was really a little bit more edgier than I'm used to seeing him. Even though the plot gets a little bit predictable for certain plot points, it doesn't take away from the fact that this is a really good movie, in my opinion, and the way that was handled, it was done very well. The action in there was good, and kind of the social commentary was very good because, especially when you're dealing with the orc character played by Joel Edgerton, he's definitely not welcome anywhere at the beginning of the film. He's a cop, so he is not liked by any of his orc, but also because he is an orc, police don't really trust him. They had a couple other actors in there, I can't remember their names, but definitely worth your watch. And if you have Netflix, why isn't it in your queue? Why haven't you watched it already? definitely check out Bright. At number 8 was one of those last-minute films that snuck under my radar, Jumanji 2: Welcome to the Jungle. Now, anything with The Rock in it as a preference is usually pretty good, and even though it's not a great movie, even if he's in it, I actually do enjoy it. I like Baywatch. I actually thought it was pretty funny. But for this film, it really did a great job of kind of rebooting and being a nice sequel to the original Jumanji starring Robin Williams, which, you know, growing up, I really enjoyed that film. And watching how they paid a nice tribute to it, but also furthered the story and kind of the universe, if you will, to it, I really appreciated it. And the fact that you got to go into the game this time, so that right there, and then the little quirks of a video game they nailed completely, talking about cutscenes, footage, lives, weaknesses, abilities, all this stuff. It didn't disappoint, and it was pretty awesome. And definitely see it. It's worth buying. I'm definitely going to buy it when it comes out. It had the laughs, had the action, and yeah, it had some of those moments where you were kind of like, right there, right there. Good on you, Rock. At number 7, you guys know that this movie listing had to have some superheroes. So at number 7, I have SpiderMan Homecoming. Didn't disappoint. We didn't recycle the same old villains. We actually brought new villains in the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton, and the Shocker, played by the various actors who took on the persona. Tom Holland knocks it out of the park as Peter Parker, and they go in and out of this great story centering around Peter's life in high school, and it's about time for him to go to homecoming and kind of balancing between all the facets of his life and being a superhero. It's got me excited to see what Tom Holland does next as far as Spider-Man and where they're going to take the series. Marvel does it best, and now that they got Spider-Man, their flagship character, the possibilities are endless. Not to mention, they've also got their other characters in this pending finalization deal with Fox. So, I mean, who knows what happens there. At number 6, guys, I told you, there's going to be a lot of superhero films on this list somewhere. So, without further ado, Thor Ragnarok, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, of the Thor films, the first one I really enjoyed because it kind of had a sword in the stone mentality, and I liked the look of the characters a lot more in the first film. But anyway, guys, Thor Ragnarok, this one broke the mold. It went the Guardians of the Galaxy route. You know, Thor, I mean, for lack of a better term, he's a god, but he's an alien. So Asgard's kind of like a distant planet or realm, whatever you want to call it. So, hey, why don't we just inject some of that Guardians of the Galaxy humor in there, which Taika Waititi did. I think I said his name right. I hope I didn't butcher it. And it paid off in spades. Plus the fact that you have Bruce Banner and the Hulk inside of this film alongside other characters that just were awesome. And the return of Loki, of course. And who the hell knew to put together Led Zeppelin with Thor? The Immigrant Song will forever be burned in my mind as a great song choice for the Thor films, without a doubt, in addition to the fact that it's just a great song in general. Coming in at number 5, another film where monkeys, apes, chimpanzees, whatever you want to call it, species, is in my listing. It is War for the Planet of the Apes, the final act of this trilogy, which started with Rise, then with Dawn, and now it's finally come to the War of the Planet of the Apes. The virus has escalated to the point where now any human that catches it is actually devolving. They're not having the same abilities that they did as being the top species in the world. And, you know, that's great because that kind of ties into even the older films. So kudos to this film series for actually being a decent prequel and reboot, but also being able to tie into the original Charlton Heston classic, because they even have Nova there. And the great thing about this is, you know, the drama, the heart. Andy Serkis is still amazing as Caesar, and the way that these effects have gotten over the years have just become more and more immersive. And by this one, I mean, watching these characters and the animations on them, I really thought I was seeing true-to-life animals. Taking it a step further, this film had a great performance by Woody Harrelson. I mean, he's a bastard, but you understand his reasoning. Plus, this film got me right in the feels. I mean, I would say that this is probably the only time that I'm ever going to watch a film based on any type of primate or apes or monkeys or whatever, or animal, you know, aside from maybe Old Yeller or something, that I've like really been close to losing my shit to. and it's due in no small part, like I said, to Andy Serkis and the way that these actors performed. And it was a great film and definitely worthy of being in my top 5 for sure. At number 4, we have It, Chapter 1. This film, I was in very much anticipating this film because growing up, you know, you have the infamous Tim Curry performance and the infamous TV two-parter that was done based on the Stephen King novel, and this one is actually taking it to the silver screen and giving it a hard edge to it finally, because it's not going to be in a TV movie, it's actually going to be R and everything. It's very hard to get a horror movie that is very suspenseful, believable, but also that is actually scary without relying on jump scares. Don't get me wrong, there are some in there, but this one really gets under your skin. And, you know, I'm sorry, but no matter what, you already got me halfway there to being scared shitless, because clowns are freaking creepy as hell. It was very good how they cast all the characters. They got along so well together. The rapport between them, the way that they talk to each other. I mean, people said this so many times. I remember talking like that when I was that age and stuff. And I'm 27 and I still talk like that. That's how you talk with your friends and everything. And so believable. And just the things that they went through was so intense for like someone who's that age. And I don't think that they could have done it any better to set the tone than to start off with Georgie's death the way it was, and how visceral and crazy and bloody it was. And you know what? Kudos to the director. I'm really looking forward to part 2, which I don't think is going to come out until 2019. But anyway, guys, it was definitely worth it, no pun intended, and a very good film for 2017. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman took it to a whole nother level. I really like what they did with the character, and the story itself isn't so amazing per se, but the fact that it's Wonder Woman and the way that they handled the film, and the film is just so against the grain of a modern superhero film, if you will. It was just so worth it and well needed and well deserved, and they've done so much great work with that film. And Patty Jenkins just had a great handle on the material and what type of film she wanted to present and to make. And like I said, Gal Gadot and the cast, Steve Trevor played by Chris Pine, and so on and so forth. Very well done. I can't stop gushing over that film. It's just a great film, and if you haven't seen Wonder Woman, it's worth a watch. And I watched it 3-4 times in the theater. That's how much I really enjoyed it. And it's definitely one of the high points of the DC Cinematic Universe for sure. At number 2, we have Hugh Jackman's final performance as Wolverine, or so he says, in Logan, which was a brutal character study and kind of Terry send-off for the character of Logan himself. Unfortunately, this in Wonder Woman I didn't get a chance to review just because of the time, and I wanted to do it properly, but hopefully I'll be able to get to it at some point. But this film is the definitive version of Logan. And not Wolverine, but Logan himself, because we see him, he's older, he's broken, he's beaten down. After all the things that he's been through, you know, we see him kind of coming to the end of his rope. He's being poisoned because the adamantium inside of him is finally starting to kind of break down and seep in. He's on death's door, and he gives one last hurrah in this film to this girl who he is the father to. And she's a clone, but the thing is this is the closest thing that he's had to family since the X-Men, and unfortunately in the time between this film and the other films, the X-Men were killed due to something that was a terrible tragedy, indeed involving one of the other X-Men characters that is in this film, in Professor X. Whether you're talking about Patrick Stewart's, Hugh Jackman's, or even the girl who played Laura's performance, all top-notch performances, definitely Oscar-worthy. And you know what, guys? With films like these, of this caliber, how can you say that superhero films aren't Oscar-worthy? And finally, we come to my number 1 film, Blade Runner 2049, starring Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford. This film took the concepts that were put into the original film and put them to new heights. And on top of that, this film, despite being more complex and everything, is a lot more palatable to the masses, I think. The way that it was handled, the direction it went, it is so great. I mean, there's nothing that I can really say about this film. The score for the film is fantastic. The atmosphere that's created by this film, the concepts, the story, the plot, where it goes. It wasn't a superhero that went out. It wasn't a comedy or an action film per se that went out. This one right here was the total package with the drama, the action, the suspense, and it had a great mystery to it. And Ryan Gosling, this guy right here, I did not expect much from this guy when I saw him the first time in Remember the Titans or whatever films I had seen him before prior. But this guy is amazing. He is awesome. Yeah, sure, ladies like him with the shirt off and all that other shit, but this guy can act his ass off. And Harrison Ford coming back again to another series that he, had started many years ago and still knocking it out of the park in it. Alright guys, well that has been my top 10 best films of 2017. Are there any films that you thought I should have put on there? Do you agree with me on all my films? Do you think that there was one that wasn't so good? Bring on all the feedback, even if it's negative. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Keep your eyes peeled for my next video, and until next time guys, take care. Bye.